Parasachit Sukhavarivase Yasyome Matram Bhavanam Samastam Guhaditam Tam Ramanam Gaviram Sindhaviyam Mudikam Sayami. We are today resuming the discourse on Ashtavakra Gita, which is also known as Ashtavakra Samhita. As I had already given the introduction earlier, Ashtavakra Gita is a conversation between one of the most famous realized sages, namely Ashtavakra, and one of the most competent disciples who had already attained the stage of being indifferent to his body and thus was known as Videha, a man without a body, that is King Janaka. A highly competent person, a highly spiritually mature soul who has attained a very high state of consciousness already. And we did about 121 shlokas, that is, we ended chapter 13. And today we are starting from chapter 14. The beauty of this Ashtavakra Gita is, if only we contemplate on any one stanza, one sloka of this, and it's not a question of meditating or contemplating. Be convinced and remain as he says. Well, you will reach the goal immediately. If not immediately, by repeatedly reading it and thus absorbing it, we will be able to reach the highest state of consciousness ever possible and thus merge with the Supreme Being. The very first one which we are going to start, we can call it as a Mahavaksha. See, in the Vedas, in the Upanishads, we have got the four greatest aphorisms. The contemplation on which alone is supposed to take you to the highest goal of becoming the Supreme Brahman, or rather recognizing our status as Supreme Brahman. They are known as Mahavaksha. I would rather say some of these shlokas are no less than a Mahavaksha. Just to follow it and you achieve a goal. It requires no rituals, it requires no sadhana, except being convinced. The moment you are convinced, behave accordingly, remain accordingly, and be as such, and you reach the goal. And perhaps it is perhaps as direct a path as propounded by Bhagavan himself. He said that to be in the quest as to who am I is perhaps the most direct path. I would put this in the same category and perhaps come second to it. Janaka Uvacha Prakritya Shunya Chitto Yaha Pramadat Bhava Bhavanaha Nidrito Bodhita Iva Shita Samsarano Muhisaha. Here it is given as Samsvarana. Well, somehow I can't agree with it. There is a part of Veda, there is another version also which says Shina Samsarana. That seems to be better. I will explain how later on while we deal with it. So at present I read it as Shina Samsarano Jisaha. Samsarana. This version which I said is being given the Sanskrit version, which has been translated to Hindi by Akhandananda Saraswati. And Akhandananda Saraswati was perhaps one of the most erudite scholars, tapasvis, sages of the recent past from Vrindavan, who attained his samadhi perhaps about 2 decades back or so. So I place reliance on his version, which is based again on a version of Taiwan's, which is Sanskrit commentary. Prakritya shunya chitto yaha. Make your mind empty. Empty of all thoughts. Do not think. Make it empty of all thoughts. And secondly, let there be no desires. Let there be no vasanas. What do you mean by mind? There is nothing called a mind. The mind is only a conglomeration of waves of thoughts. One wave after another. One wave is over, another wave comes, another wave is over, a third wave comes, then a fourth wave. At no time it ceases to have these waves except during your deep sleep, when the mind becomes quiescent and tranquil. That is the only time. Otherwise the mind, especially in the waking state, it is always there. You take one, the other one comes, the other one comes. It is almost like your spaghetti. You take one, the other one comes. You take the second, the third comes. You can't just remove one alone. And what happens when you make your mind absolutely vacant? This alone is sufficient. You need not read anything else. You do this much, you will get to the highest. And Bhagavan has also told the same thing. Jalal Rumi, the great Sufi philosopher, is told. And he is told in the Bible too, be still and you know that you are God. Still in the sense, let not your mind clamor. Let there be no sound emanating from your mind. You may keep silent through the mouth, but your mind will be contemplating 1,000 different things. So the ultimate silence is the silence of the mind and not the silence of the mouth. Lapse into the great silence, into the great void. The great void is full of that consciousness. So, Prakritya Shunya Chitto Yaha. There is a famous Zen master known as Bokoju. A fellow went to him and asked him. He was giving a lecture and he said anybody can ask a question. And Bokoju was not a lean king Sanyas, he was a very fat man and absolutely full of muscles. And he always used to carry a big stick, a stout stick in his hand. To look at him, he would strike terror in anybody's mind. He had such a towering personality. So the fellow, one of the fellows rose up and questioned, Sir, would you mind telling me as to who am I? There are so many ways of answering this question. The way in which he answered was peculiar. The fellow was somewhere standing in the middle of the audience. He took his stick up and told the fellow, give me way. And then people went this way and that way and gave him way. He straight went to that fellow, held the stick over his head, go back by the way from which your question came. Do it just now. And the fellow, he was so upright, for a minute or two, he couldn't think of anything, all his thoughts ceased. He reached a state of no mind, his mind couldn't work. The fellow was so shocked and paralyzed by this unexpected behavior of this passive guru, a man who comes from Buddhism, perhaps. And suddenly he found himself in samadhi. And in 10 minutes when he came back, he bowed to the master and told, Sir, I had never gone in my life so much inside. Thank you very much. That's all. Shunya Chitta, his mind became Shunya at that time. It became nil. So even if a minute of it can achieve it, if only you could keep it in that natural and permanent state, Prakritya Shunya Chitta, it should not be done by compulsion. Don't do it by compulsion. Let it become natural to you. Why not compulsion? Why not make the mind? See, the mind is full of thoughts. Where from the thoughts come? The thoughts emanate from the various past impressions of experiences in the past, the conditions of the past. I am so accustomed to taking some nice, beautiful idlis early in the morning. So naturally, at one corner, this idli has left a very deep impression. What do these vasanas do? They persuade you again and again to take idlis. Wherever you go, sir, what do you want? You bring up idlis, I want idli. So it makes you repeat the experience. That is what these vasanas do. So, supposing I take a fasting, oh, tomorrow is Ekadashi, I don't want to take anything, I am going to fast completely, not even water. You know what will happen? You will fast, you may not take meat. During the entire day you will be having visions of idli, beautiful idlis, nice, steaming hot. This is what you will be having. So by separation, you cannot remove them. The impressions are so fast, they cannot be easily erased. Prakritya shunya chitto yaha. So let it become natural to you. When can it become natural? Only when all the vasanas, all the conditionings, all the results, the impressions of experiences of the world and worldly things which have accumulated in you, let them be lost, let them be erased. It's not so easy. How will you erase? Well, how to remove a vasana is a topic by itself. You have got in Yoga Vasishta, everywhere you are telling several methods. Perhaps the easiest one method which ever appeals to me is, do not try to remove, you cannot erase it. You just replace it. You replace it by divine consciousness. Forget about your idlis, forget about your coffees. Remain merged always in the thoughts of the Supreme Being, in the thoughts of the Self, in the thoughts of the Supreme Lord. Go on thinking of Him, thinking of Him, think of His love, think of His rays of light, think of His effulgence, think of His consciousness, think of Him as consciousness, think of Him as existence, that which is the essence of all the existence in the world, who exists as existence. If I exist, it is because the Lord exists. If this fan exists, it is because He exists. So all the existence owe it to that existence, that supreme existence. Remain glued to it, remain merged to it, where from these vasanas can come. So that is perhaps one of the easiest ways that I can think of, that remain merged in that supreme consciousness, that divine consciousness, that divine love, that divine power. Then automatically all your vasanas, they cannot come anywhere near you. Yes, they may try to peck at you from the periphery a few times, but they cannot overcome you. They cannot overcome you. That divine energy, that divine power is so great, so great. No vasanas can be before you. That's perhaps the easiest way. Prakritya shunya chitto yaha. So by doing it, what happens? Never, you need not take any effort to control your mind lest any thought may enter. No. It becomes so natural to you. You be sitting for hours together, absolutely no thoughts. You may look at a person, nothing comes in your mind. Oh, this person is good, this person is bad. This is the person who did to me that such and such a thing some years back. Absolutely nothing. Nothing, no recollections. Nothing comes in your mind. All the vasanas, all the conditionings, the entire computer memory has been erased. So the biggest virus which can erase this computer memory of vasanas is the Lord. Prakritya shunya chitto yaha. So let it come to you as natural that you don't think of anything. Let all thoughts be lost. Let you remain empty. When the thoughts go, the eye goes. Eye is a thought. During the night when the mind didn't work, you were not aware of your eye. Supposing I had some multiple fractures and I'm lying in a hospital and they're giving me a sleeping tablet, I'm sleeping. Was I aware of the body? Was I aware of the various multiple fractures? Not at all. The entire body disappeared. The entire world disappeared at night. Only in the morning, the moment you got up, the first thought was I, Swami Shantananda. Then followed, 10 o'clock I had to go to the railway station, I had to meet such and such VIP. 12 o'clock I had to attend the seminar. Evening 4 o'clock I have promised to come for going around the hill. So the entire world comes to you later on. That is that. So the world and the I, everything will disappear whereas the thoughts disappear. Whereas you make the mind inoperative. Let there be no function of the mind. Paralyze it. Prakritya shunya chitto yaha. You may do that. Yes. Throughout your life you may remain for hours together without a single thought crossing in your mind. But then it may so happen, occasionally, casually, once or so, that thought may come in your mind. It's not impossible, even for the best, because so long as you are still associated with the body, so long you have not reached the highest state of Kaivalya, where you alone are, which takes place only when the body is left. So long as the body is there, even though you may not be conscious of the body, but so long as it remains with you, it limits your own mahima, your own glory. The electricity has got nothing to do with the bulb. But then there is only one electricity which comes. It lights up the 20 watt, it lights up the 100 watt, it lights up the 1000 watt, but there is only one electricity. But then the bulb has the power of restricting the manifestation of the light. Yes, the light energy in all the same, it has got the same wattage, it has got the infinite energy. But then, due to certain conditioning in the bulb does play a part. Similarly, this body is the bulb. So long as the body is there, it is likely that some occasional thoughts may arise in your mind, good or bad, whatever it may be. It is, you may call it casually. Rather, I will call it through the cosmic program which runs this entire world. See, individually I may not be working, but then, as Dr. Freud says, there is also what is called a collective consciousness, he calls it. Behind that subconscious mind, he brings something called a collective consciousness. I would call it a collective consciousness because as it is a conscience which is common to all, it is not the only consciousness which is common to all. The entire consciousness which runs the entire world and the individual, there is only one consciousness. As the great quantum physicist Schrödinger puts it, consciousness is always in singular. It doesn't have a plural at all because it's only one consciousness. Your consciousness cannot be different from mine. So he says, Pramada bhava bhavana. Pramada means negligence, lapse, inadvertence. Just casually, but somehow it has happened. So you can't explain how. So you took great care to bring out this book. And then when the printer comes, you find that somewhere they have put a spelling mistake is there. How did it happen? 3 people have gone through the entire proof copy. Well, it has come. It is perhaps the divine will, the divine program, it is the cosmic program. It's part of it. In the same way, however much we may become a Jivan Mukta, we may become an absolutely realized soul, it is likely due to some inexplicable reason. That inexplicable reason, we call it here as Pramada. Pramada means, see, Pramada is a word which is often used by the Buddhists. Lord Buddha several times he exhorts the bhikkhus that apramadejiyo, remain in full alertness. Pramada means a lapse in the alertness, a lapse in your vigilance. For a second you forget to be vigilant. For a second you forget to be alert. Then you may do something wrong. So that is called a pramada. But you have to be ever vigilant. Ever vigilant. If anybody wants to reach the supreme spirituality, he has to be ever vigilant, ever alert. You cannot take a minute off. You have to be always vigilant, lest some vasana, lest some bad karma may not induce you to place a false step. An expert dancer can never afford to make a single false move. Every step of it is always perfect. He can never afford to be perfect. That is what we have to be. Pramadat bhava bhavana. Bhava means thought. Bhavana means the one who is thinking. Bhava not only thought, bhava also means the objects of the world. So, just casually due to some chance, even though normally he is a man whose mind is empty of the ego, empty of all thoughts, empty of all desires, empty of all latent impressions and tendencies, empty of all vasanas, still it could be casually a thought may come into him of some object or other. Suddenly perhaps he might just remember, oh, I would like to have a cup of mango juice. This happened almost a few months before he died. There was a direct disciple of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. He was known as Shivananda. He was the second pontiff of the Belur Mutt. So one day he suddenly, in the morning he got up. It was the month of November or December when absolutely not a single mango was ever available anywhere. He told somebody, hey, I would like to have a little of a mango juice, just a little of it, but why to go for a little of it? There is not a single mango available anywhere. From morning onwards, people were dispatched, disciples went everywhere. He is a pontiff, he is the chief of the Belur Mutt, a realized soul. So how can anybody dare transgress his command? They went everywhere. Then at last at 1 o'clock, one man returned with a little of a half-ripe mango. They just heated it a little so they can get more juice out of it, then brought the juice. He said, what is this? Sure, this morning you wanted a mango. He said, oh, is it? He just dipped his little finger, just a little, did it. Very nice, beautiful, take it away. That's all, over. See how this idea ever came to him, and finally he was never bothered, the idea went away immediately. That's all. So that is what is happening. Pramadat bhava bhavanaha. Due to some casual reasons whatsoever, due to some inexplicable casual reason, that is how I will interpret the word pramada. Even though pramada means unconsciousness, you do so many things unconsciously. Unconsciously you may think of something. You are sitting for japa, Ram, Ram, Ram. Unconsciously your mind goes to your grandson in New York. It is not conscious. If you are conscious, then you would not have left the Ram japa, you have just taught it. So you do it in an unconscious state. Pramada represents that unconscious state where you are not aware of what you are doing. Where the consciousness doesn't come up to the top, it is lying dormant. See, our entire idea is to raise this consciousness, the level of consciousness. Today our level of consciousness is very poor. 99% of it is lying dormant. Brahma, the man who thinks of worldly objects just casually, even though his mind is free from all thoughts and is absolutely empty, it is a void. Then the third one is Nidrito Bodhita Jiva. This is again a beautiful description of the state of the Jiva Mukta, the one who is completely realized while alive. What is the use of telling, well, you do all these things, you will get moksha when you die? Well, it's a guarantee which I can never verify, so I won't place much faith in it. If I can get the moksha while alive, when I know that, well, I have got it, then it is something. It is perhaps the Advaita which alone guarantees you this that you can become absolutely blissful without the least adulteration of any unhappiness. That is moksha. You can get released from all bondages while alive. That is called the state of a Jivan Mukta. The one who is liberated consciously while alive. So, Nidrito Bodhita Iva. It has got several ramifications. It's not so easy. The first one is Nidritaha Bodhita Iva. The first interpretation I would make is, it is just like a man who is asleep, Nidritaha. A man who is asleep, Bodhita Iva, he is just awake. A man who is asleep, he is beautifully enjoying various dreams. In the dream he finds that he is the king of all his services, the king of a great kingdom, and he is wallowing in all luxuries, and is living happily with several queens and several children and grandchildren. So, suddenly supposing the man wakes up, the entire thing becomes a dream. He forgets about it because there is no reality. Will he be still mourning about one of the 20 queens he had while he was a king in the dream? Or will he be worried about the various subjects who are all daily kowtowing to him from morning to evening? Not at all. It is all a dream. Forget it. Similarly, the Jivan Mukta, whatever has happened before his enlightenment, whatever travails we had had, whatever problems we had had, whatever hard sadhanas he had to do, and whatever hardships he was subject to in the course of his sadhanas, the entire thing becomes a dream. He forgets it. So the entire world which was seen till yesterday becomes just a dream. No reality. It has lost its sting. It has become a paper tiger. Nidrito Bodhita. Nidritaha, the one who is asleep. Bodhita. See, most of us, what happens is, it is the otherwise. Even when we are awake, we are half asleep. It is the reverse of a Jivan Mukta we are. We are just like these children. You know, the children, the child, it is dreaming in his dream that he is having a nice, what you might call, say a small puppet-like thing. It is keeping. A grizzly bear made up of some cushion-like things and all this, keeping. It is just seeing it in the dream. It doesn't have it. So in the dream it is seeing, it is always possessing it, it is carrying it everywhere. The moment it got up, it found that bear is no longer there. It begins to be, Mummy, where is my bear? Mummy, where is my bear? So this is a case where Bodhitaha Nidrita. The child is awake and still it is dreaming, and it is worried about the dream khilona, the toy in the dream. It is very much after it. While here is the other way. See, it seems Mullah Nasruddin was having a dream one day. In the dream, the heavenly voice asked him, "Hey, how much money do you want?" See, sometimes what happens, even in our imagination, we tend to be miserly. We can't be generous. So he asked him, "Sir, I want 100 rupees. He could ask for 1 lakh. So he told him, "I want 100 rupees. Then the voice said, "No, I won't give you 100 rupees, I'll give you 99 rupees. "No, no, I want 100 or nothing." So he was wriggling, haggling. In the meantime, suddenly, the dream went away and he was awake. He immediately again shut his eyes and said, "No, no, no, 99 will do, please give me." He is awake now, but he doesn't want to leave the dream, because 99 rupees he has lost. So, Nidrito Bodhite with the reverse of this. And the second one is, there are various Siddhas, the perfect masters in Tamil Nadu. Some of them have written some beautiful poems of their experiences. In one of them they say, Tungamal Tungum Kalam Varmo. Something like that. See, my Tamil is not that good. So, Tungamal Tungum Kalam. You see, a Siddha, a perfect man who has reached the highest state of consciousness, he never sleeps. It will look to you that as he is asleep, but he is never asleep. His consciousness is in full. He is always 100% conscious. While when we sleep, we lose our control over muscles, our facial muscles, our body, our hand will be lying on one side, our bedsheet will be lying on the third side. All this will happen because we are not conscious. Ananda, the great disciple of Buddha, asked Buddha one day, "Oh Buddha, you look so wonderful, so handsome now when I look at you. But many of the people who look so beautiful and so handsome while they are awake, you go and see them early in the morning when they get up from their bed, with their hair disheveled and with the spit coming out, the spittle coming out and falling like, and their face drawn to one side. But there is a time you can see their real beauty. So, I have been watching you, Buddha, throughout the night. Throughout the night when you were asleep, your beauty was perfectly intact. Never for a moment your facial muscles relaxed. They remained as beautifully as ever. How is it? What is the secret of it, Buddha? Buddha said, many when they sleep, they become unconscious. Their consciousness goes deep and goes to slumber. It doesn't become manifest. The manifested consciousness during the waking state becomes dormant and goes to sleep, while I remain conscious. All duty is a consciously controlled duty. A mother goes, she has to attend a marriage function, she goes to the beautician, she makes her head, this thing, a lot of things so nice and all. When she comes back, she will tell her, don't come anywhere near me, this will all fall down. Today I have to attend the marriage function, so you will control it, otherwise the beauty will fall down. So all beauty is controlled. So during consciousness we can control it. So throughout the night he is so conscious, so not a single muscle goes out of place. He is just like that, all peaceful, all tranquil, all calm, without any agitation, neither in his mind, neither externally nor internally. That's the beautiful state. So that is the state where we are sleeping, but we are not sleeping. That is the state of achievement. It looks as if you are sleeping, but you are fully alert. It is called the passive alertness.